The road to success can be bumpy for an owner-operator, but there is a playbook to make the ride a little smoother.
And when tragedy strikes, many truck drivers don't have a safety net. We speak with the organization, making sure someone catches them. Welcome to Trucking with OOIDA. I'm Scott Thompson.
And I'm Ashley Blackford.
Ashley, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
We've seen each other before now,
Yeah.
So I don't know why we're saying that. But hey, pleasantries.
It makes it sound nice on radio.
It does, yeah, there you go. We're going to cover some of the latest trucking news, as we often do here in just a moment, Ashley. But did you see the story? I wanted to talk about this a little bit, about an alien spacecraft, maybe, that just entered our solar system.
These are the stories that I'm like, I'm going to stop and read this. I did see it.
Yeah. So there was an object, I guess, recently discovered in space that we should note most scientists say is probably a comet or some
majority.
sort of majority, the great majority, the vast majority. However, there's a Harvard scientist who isn't so sure. So this has been dubbed 3I Atlas. We know a few things about it. We know it came from outside the solar system. We know it's going to pass close to the sun at the end of October, and it's also going to pass by Jupiter and Mars, and I think Venus at some point as well. But this Harvard scientist, Avi Loeb, says this is taking such an unusual course. He's not ruling out the idea that it could be an alien spacecraft. He says it appears to be intelligently directed, I think is the word that he used there. And that if it is an alien spacecraft, this is the thing that gets me.
We need to be
watch out.
prepared.
We got to be prepared. Yeah.
I mean, he's got some street cred. This isn't some crazy guy on TikTok.
Well, he's a Harvard professor. Apparently, he's a believer, I guess.
Yeah.
And he said before he's had some evidence of.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Not convinced anymore. I don't know either. I'm the person who believes that there is somewhere out there. I don't think that they visited us necessarily.
Do you think the government has stuff?
I don't know. I do think, in the entire universe, there's has to be some sort of life out there, right?
You start thinking about space, though. That's just like,
it's a mind.
My mind is like, I can't comprehend.
No, and I don't think you're designed to comprehend it.
So is this
is the end.
Possibly going to arrive on October 29th? What are we thinking?
The end. No, I think it's passing close to the sun on October 29th. But
hopefully not too close.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, that could be the end of the alien spacecraft. I don't know. The long story short, this could be the end of everything. Who knows? And in that case,
we'll find out.
Yeah, I guess we're going to find out.
Okay.
Let's also find out some trucking news, shall we?
Let's do that.
Yeah.
This is a little less exciting.
Oh, okay.
Looking at diesel prices, almost unchanged from a week ago. Diesel sits at $3.80 a gallon. According to the Energy Information Administration, diesel went down just slightly in 7 areas they cover. It went up 3 areas, just about 1 cent. The cheapest, of course, the Gulf Coast, average of $3.44 a gallon. And the highest in California, almost $5. It's $4.94 a gallon there.
Wait a second. Do you think the government's hiding alien technology?
There's documentaries about it. I just started the Netflix one on when they stormed Area 51, which I love how I don't recall any of these events, but...
Oh, yeah, that was like 10 years ago or something.
Yeah, I think so,
They all got arrested, and I don't think they didn't make it in.
I haven't finished the Netflix
spoiler alert,
documentary.
I'm sorry. It's only been...
I just started
It's only been 11 years. I'm sorry.
I don't know why I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't think they got anywhere. No.
Well,
you're
spoiling
if they had found aliens, you would have heard about it.
Maybe.
So I don't think that they, I don't know. Don't get too excited. I think you might be a little disappointed.
Okay.
Quite a transition there from diesel prices to alien spacecraft, and back now to used truck prices. Ashley, we continue to look for indicators that the market is improving because, as we've talked about before, it's all connected one way or another. That includes diesel prices, which you just talked about there. It also includes used truck prices as well. And something interesting just happened with the data there. This comes from ACT Research, which is reporting that the average retail price for a used Class 8 truck rose in June. The average came in at just a little over $60,000 in June, up more than 10% from the price a year earlier, and about a 6% higher average than the May numbers reflect there. And again, that is noteworthy here because it's the first year-over-year increase of used truck prices since December of 2022. Now, what does that tell us? The VP of ACT Research, Steve Tam, said in their report that this is probably, he thinks, a result of the overall volatility and uncertainty that we're seeing throughout the market and have been here for several months now. Also worth noting, though, that the used trucks that were sold in June did not have as many miles on them, about 403,000 miles on average, down about 5% from a year earlier. So again, we keep looking at all these numbers that are floating around from, different agencies and different companies are reporting them to look for signs. This is one sign that, again, people are kind of still, dealing with the, what do we do with the current situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The American Transportation Research Institute recently came out with a study on the shortage of qualified diesel techs in trucking. According to ATRI, 65% of shops were understaffed this year with a lack of qualified techs. They said they found that a little over half of the techs are entering their career with no formal training, and even those who are trained are still unqualified in some areas. The most common barrier they found was for techs was the high cost of acquiring tools, followed by the lack of technology, insufficient pay, and poor shop mentorship. The goal of the study, Atri said, is to help trucking shops identify not only where they and their training program can improve, but also to better leverage the industry's strengths. And I'm sure this stuff is, these studies are good for these industries that I'm assuming aren't crunching numbers and looking for data.
Yeah.
Just for them to understand, how can they do better? How can they,
Yeah.
try to get more people?
Oh, yeah. They
in
certainly
there?
feel it.
Oh, yeah,
And
I'm
studies
sure.
like this, again, kind of paint a more full picture
Mhm.
for them, I think,
What's
as
going
well.
on?
It also speaks, too, to the fact that this country, really would benefit from investing in vocational tech
Yeah, for
programs,
sure.
VOTEC, which has kind of gone away, I think, at least since I was in high school, which has been
Mm.
a little while. But this is a perfect example
Yeah,
of,
we need these.
yeah, we definitely need
Yeah.
them, and it's a good profession, and be curious to look into that report a little bit more. Let's talk cautionary tales now, Ashley. Although I'm sure none of our listeners would do anything like this, but this
Of
comes
course
to
not.
us out of Colorado, where the owner of a trucking company was just sentenced to nearly 2 years in prison for leading a scheme that centered around submitting fraudulent invoices to a contractor that was providing services for a Colorado electrical utility company. Prosecutors say Henry Lozano, who owned Lozano Trucking out of Fort Lupton, got away with about $1.5 million in kickbacks,
Hmm.
but he didn't get away from the long arm of the law here. Two others involved in the scheme also going to prison, one for 30 months, another for 25, all taking plea deals. So I think they knew that the jig was up here. But it always strikes me when these things happen, I'm thinking, what? Like,
What are you thinking?
what are you thinking? Like, I mean,
Also,
I guess it's fun until you get caught. I don't
yeah,
know.
the last name Lozano, I feel like he missed an opportunity there for like
Yeah.
an Italian restaurant or something.
Oh, well, I mean, hey, after he gets out of prison,
Maybe that's something
maybe
you can
that's,
consider.
yeah, I don't know. Well, there you go. Maybe you should
Uh,
reach out to him.
maybe I
Yeah,
will.
maybe you will.
Transition Trucking Award. This is one of the, I think, the coolest, one
Yeah.
of the coolest awards. I know there's many
Yeah.
in trucking, but the semifinalists have been announced in the Transition Trucking Award program. That is a program that honors military veteran drivers that have gotten into trucking. It's been around for about 10 years now. The 12 finalists have been announced, and they will be recognized during the Veterans Ready Summit in Washington, D.C. They're also attending a ceremony at the National Veterans Memorial and Museum in Ohio. The grand prize for the winner of this is a new Kenworth T680 with a 76-inch sleeper and the latest amenities, which
Fully
sounds like
decked out.
pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Very cool.
Pretty cool prize. And something else that's neat about this, the public actually gets to have a little bit of a say on who will win. Voting period is from November 1st through the 11th, and this happens before it goes to the selection committee who decides the winner, which I'm sure is not an easy thing to do because, yeah, if you go on the website, all their stories and, how
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
served and then got into trucking are
Yeah.
just incredible. The last year's winner
Admirable.
was quoted actually saying that, he thought coming out of the military, you fade away, no one thinks of you anymore. But he said this award is proof that that's not true. So for more information on that, you can head to transitiontrucking.org and read all about the stories there.
It's so cool. You kind of said there are a lot of great
Mm,
awards that are out there. This one especially is cool for the reasons that
yeah.
you mentioned there. But it is so cool to go through each person's story
Just, yeah.
to see their path and
Yeah.
find out how they made it. And as we've talked about before, the trucking industry has a lot of veterans
So many
working in
ties.
it. Yeah, so many ties. I can't remember the most recent number I saw, but the percentage is pretty
Pretty
high.
high. Yeah.
Great profession for those folks. And yeah, go check out their stories, check
Hmm.
out the contest itself. And I think voting open now? I can't recall.
It said November 1st through the 11th.
Okay, so
So
it will
you
open up
got
at
a little
some
bit,
point.
but yeah, definitely head back on there when that time comes.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, we are going to talk with, here in just a moment, Andrew King of the OOIDA Foundation.
Mhm.
We have talked before with him about a number of things. They're involved. They've got their fingers in a lot of pies.
Yes.
One of them is the Truck to Success seminar
Mhm.
that's coming up in October. We're talking about it now because there's actually an early bird registration deadline that's coming up.
Mhm.
Really good opportunity to kind of get your foot in the door there.
Good deal.
And if you're a company driver looking to go out on your own, if you're already an owner operator and want some tips on how to
It's a good
improve
spot
your
for it.
business, it's a great spot for that. We're also going to talk with Courtney Niemann and Diane Hutsell of the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund in a little bit as well to talk about their mission.
Mhm.
Looking forward to that as well. So a lot of show coming up, Ashley. Trucking with OOIDA coming up right after this short commercial break with Andrew King of the OOIDA Foundation.
Thanks to all the hardworking drivers across the U.S. from the Allen Len Company.
Penske is the trusted source for quality used trucks. Whether you search our website, call our sales staff, or bid at our online auction, you are sure to find the right used truck for your business. Visit PenskeUsedTrucks.com to view our inventory and learn more.
High heat and low lubricity can break your diesel fuel down fast. Summer driving means crowded roads, more stress, dust, and a bigger risk of costly engine damage. Howe's Diesel Defender protects from the inside out, cleaning, lubricating, and fighting injector wear. Visit HowsProducts.com.
Are you tired of the IRS following you around like a dark cloud? Call 888-557-4020 and get your life back.
At Truck Stop, we built a better load board for carriers like you. Sign up today and access over 600,000 loads on the most trusted online load board. Learn why the best in the business rely on Truck Stop to make more money and start driving your profit today.
And welcome back to Trucking with OOIDA. Ashley, we were talking about Andrew King, and we've actually got him in the studio here. Truck to Success is coming up in October.
It's coming up.
Coming up before that is the early bird registration for people who want to take advantage of that. So let's get right into it with Andrew King, the director of the OOIDA Foundation. Andrew, let's start kind of with the basics here. For people who may not be familiar with what this seminar is, tell us about it and everything it entails.
Well, it's kind of in the name, actually, if you think
All right.
about it.
Well, that's all our time.
We're done. But the idea behind it is, we've noticed over the years, and it's kind of a common feature, doesn't seem to change much, even depending on what's going on in the market. People who enter into trucking, unfortunately, there's a lot of failure that takes place. The failure rates are very high. And so we wanted to bring in this opportunity for education and learning to show people not only how to do it, like from someone who's maybe a company driver who's interested in becoming an owner-operator, or maybe even someone who's already leased on who might want to get their own authority, but also if you should do it or if you can do it.
Those are important questions.
Those are very important.
Maybe the most important questions.
Correct,
Yeah.
because, we call it Truck to Success, and then someone always will ask, what's the success rate, But as always, success looks different to different people. And so we want to make sure that not only do you know how to do it, but to figure out if you really can do it. So an initial investment up front, but in the end, it could potentially save you lots, So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Well, when you talk about that success or that failure rate, I guess if you're a glass half full or glass empty kind of person, but the failure rate for people that kind of just jump in is really high because there is a lot of stuff that you haven't even thought about that you got to deal with.
Absolutely. So we have from our own numbers from, pulling data in-house, the failure rate during certain times is around 30%. Government figures show about similar, but they also show they go out a little bit further. So by 5 years, over 50% of all trucking businesses are going to fail. So that's pretty significant. Obviously, people get into trucking to have a career. Sometimes it's not always their first career, but they want to make it last. So we want to make sure that they are able to do that as well. And so equipping them on things they might not have any idea about, things that, especially if you're a company driver or maybe you're even leased on and there's like certain things that your motor carrier does or asks of you that's like, gosh, it's so annoying. Like, just leave me alone, And now you come to learn like, oh, that's why they're doing that.
Now I have to do
now
that.
I have to do that to myself and potentially, some people, they also want to expand. They want to have people leased onto them, or maybe they want to have a small fleet. So you definitely need to know this stuff if that's your desire.
I'm curious. We're in such an age now where I feel like anybody who wants to learn anything, they can go on YouTube. Heck, they could probably go on TikTok. Do you
AI,
yeah. Do you find obviously like this 3-day event? It entails everything you need to know that you're not going to find in one place on YouTube, right?
Exactly. Yes, and that summarizes it very well. One, it's all in one place, but two, and I liken this to kind of AI for anyone who's ever used it. It will lie to you. Everything that it says is not necessarily true.
It tells
or
you
correct.
what you want to hear sometimes.
It does. And so going to sources like YouTube, even where you have people who've been drivers, but it's just different because we have been doing this for 50 years and we have different aspects of the business that we know very, very well because we're doing it day in and day out. There's things that people, I'm sure that they know, but there's things that they don't know or they think that they know and it's just wrong. And so that's, again, why I would highly recommend something like Truck to Success because you're talking to the experts. These people do it every single day. And then we are bringing in outside people who specialize in certain things like, setting up your business entity and how to keep your tax exposure low so you can make the most profit. Or we're going to have another individual, John Mall from Triple T Transport, come in and talk about the ups and downs of trucking because he's been in the industry from a long time from a different perspective, not just a carrier point of view, but from a broker and shipper point of view, which is what you need to know. You need to know that stuff. And you're only going to find that here.
To Ashley's point, and if you could talk a little bit more, Andrew, about what, and it's a 3-day course, but it's intensive. Like you go from A to Z through what you've got to do if you want to become an owner operator. Talk about what that looks like. Talk about some of the things that are discussed. I mean, business plan, taxes. It runs the gamut, but kind of run through the list if you would.
Sure, yeah, we could do that. So the first day is really designed for someone who is a company driver or even someone who's leased on already to know what to do to kind of set up the foundation to take that next step. So that's where we're going to talk about creating a business plan, which is a segment that I do. We're also talking about how to spec a new truck or what to look for in a used truck. I know some people might already have a vehicle, but you can always learn something. We're also going to talk about the dangers of lease purchases and what to look for if you're going to lease onto a carrier and the regulations of how to protect yourself so you don't get yourself into a really bad contract. Again, we have people who do that day in, day out. So they have so much good practical knowledge and wisdom there. Day number 2 is really, day 1 is pretty full, but day 2 is like, it's so much.
It's like what now, Andrew? Say that again.
Good sound effect.
Yeah. But anyway, this day is really focused on how to become your own carrier. So there are so many regulations. It's ridiculous. And if you do not do it right, you might get by for a time.
You're going to pay a price.
But you are going to pay for it later. And you do not want to start off on the wrong foot. So this day, we're going to talk about authority, permits, and licensing, business structure, insurance, claims. Hopefully you never have to have a claim, but what do you do if that happens? Drug and alcohol testing. There's so much in that second day. It's so much. And then the third day is a little bit an easier day in a sense, but this is how we kind of take that next step to, okay, how do you apply it? How do you be successful? What are some tools and some things that you can use to actually improve your business to make sure you stay in business? Because again, like kind of what we cover even in the first day a little bit, just kind of setting the tone is people succeed even in down markets and people fail even when things are going really well. So how do you navigate that storm, the ups and downs, in order to be successful no matter what's going on in the market? And you can do that. You can protect your business and yourself. And so that third day is really designed to kind of go into that sort of stuff.
One thing I found unique about Truck to Success is, you have these people up front speaking, but then also like breaks, lunches, heck, even in
Mhm.
the evenings. I know like the tax
Yeah.
guy will like hang
Yeah.
out. You can ask questions. I mean, that's pretty unique, I think, for most.
Absolutely. The networking,
Yeah.
like kind of what you're getting at, is really big. And we're going to expand on that a little bit this year to have a little bit, to make it more accessible to talk to the people who are sharing. Because sometimes, we have periods of time for questions, but sometimes people don't really like doing that.
Ask a question in front of the
In front
class
of
kind of
everybody,
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna actually set up some booths and have some more of it, like make it more of an experience, so that you can, in between in the breaks and stuff, we can make those individuals more accessible, so you can sit down and even we would love to be able to kind of provide some bundles for things, because obviously we're educating, but we also offer some of these things as well. I mean, the primary
Right.
thing is education, but if you did want to take those steps, then we'll be able to offer some of that too. It's kind of the hope.
There's kind of two scenarios, and the thing I think is interesting, among other things, about this particular seminar is that you're not doing like the YouTube, TikTok AI thing where you're sugarcoating things.
Yeah.
There are some things that you cover there that I think open people's eyes quite a bit. And what you find is that some people afterward decide, okay, I am ready for this. This is the right time. Let's go for it. And they do, take those next steps and do what we're going to do. You have another group too that kind of go in and come to a very different realization, which I think, and I think you would agree, is
Still a
equally
success.
equally
Yes,
important
right.
and still a success. Yeah, exactly. Talk a little bit about that, because I think that's a super important thing
yeah.
that people
I
go
mean,
in with all the knowledge that they need.
in some ways, it might even be more of a success. If it just kind of depends on how you look at it. But we don't want to scare people.
Yeah.
But in some ways, like you said, we want to be very, very real, and you'll hear that time and time again throughout the seminar, and it without fail every year there is somebody who has this desire to be a fleet owner or something along those lines. And then after hearing day one, it's like, well, no, I think I'm gonna maybe I'll just get my own authority. And then after day two, it's, well, maybe I think I should just stay leased on, and that is not a failure. I mean, knowing where you are, understanding your own weaknesses and your own strengths, what you can and cannot do, that takes a strong character to be able to do that. And then we want to be able to provide that information, because there's so much stuff you just don't know that you don't know.
Yeah.
And that's where we kind of seek to provide. And so, yeah, we don't want to sugarcoat it. We don't want you to just jump in and get all of these things, get insurance and get your authority and all that stuff, even though that could profit in a business sense. That really isn't what's best for you. And so for me personally, I hate it when people sell you stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just had someone come to my door the other day and they're so pushy. That is not us. We're not pushing you to go and do this. You should jump in. You should get your own authority. No, it's, please evaluate this very carefully. These are all the what could be a benefit. There is a lot of reward to taking more risk. But again, the risk is also important to consider.
Yeah. And it may just be a thing where they realize, I'm not ready now, but
Correct.
I have
You
this
can do it later.
information.
Yeah.
A year from now, maybe it's time, and that they can help. That helps them make that decision too.
And we do allow, because there is a lot of information. So we give we have the recordings of this as well, and so we give that to them. They have access to that for a year, so they can go back and review, and maybe next year is when they pull the trigger on taking that next step.
And one quick thing too, you talk about company drivers. I think probably being the main, or I guess the primary group that joins, right? What I love too is I've been to a couple. You occasionally will have somebody who has been an owner-operator for 10, 15, 20. I think I met a guy who had been doing it for 30 years.
Yep.
And I asked him, I said, well, what do you, I assume you're doing pretty well. What are you doing here? He's like, there's always something to learn, especially the new stuff that comes out.
Exactly.
So I think that's a valuable thing to point out as well.
It is for everyone. Everyone has something you can learn. I mean, we're always learning, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Early bird registration for anybody listening who may be interested in joining. Give us the details on that.
So if you are interested in more information or would like even to register, you can go to www.trucktosuccess.com. And there you can get a little bit more information. There is an early bird special. So if you sign up before September 1st, you get $50 off plus a year's membership. So basically, it's a value of about $100 off the price. In person is $600, and you can bring a guest. And some of that cost is really also because we provide food, we provide snacks, and we do this all in the Marriott, just close to us.
Yep.
And
down the road.
And you don't have to go there as far as like booking a room, but if you do, you can get a discount as well. And then
Ashley has a very strong endorsement of the hotel.
So I went like 2-3 years ago now. The breakfast, the bacon.
She has not
it's
stopped
good.
talking about the bacon.
Food
It
is
is
very
like
good, actually.
easily the best bacon I've ever had in my entire life.
So there's an extra selling
So,
point.
yeah.
There it is.
for you.
Just come
Like
for the bacon.
I want to go this
Just
year
come for the
just
bacon.
for the bacon.
Come for the bacon and learn how to make bacon. Do we come up with a new slogan?
wow.
I like it.
No,
I don't
no,
know.
Andrew
I
doesn't
don't
like it.
know.
He's being
Well.
nice. He's being like AI. He's telling me what I want to hear.
It's
So
fine.
anyway, the details, if you want to.
Yeah, one last thing though
Yeah,
is it's not just in person. You can sign up for online because I understand it is a commitment. 3 days,
Sure.
that's a big deal. Coming to the middle of the country, so we could also have the online version as well.
Truck2success.com
Yes.
is the place to go for more information. And if you want to register, you can do everything there as well.
Correct.
And if you have questions, they can call OOIDA, 816-229-5791. Ask for you, maybe?
Yep, me or Charles, either one, and you could also email me. So
There you
it's
go.
Andrew_King@OOIDA.com.
Andrew, we appreciate it. We will obviously talk to you before and after the event itself, but we appreciate your time and take care.
Yeah, thank you.
We're going to say goodbye to you, Andrew King of the OOIDA Foundation. Ashley,
All
wanna
I
go
can
get-
think about now is bacon.
well, let's
I'm gonna run up to the Marriott.
We got about
and,
3 minutes before we're back, so
right.
that should be enough time.
See if
But
I'll make
yeah, we'll do that, and we're back right after this. And welcome back to Trucking with OOIDA. Ashley, you and I looked through a lot of stories on trucking, obviously. I saw one recently about a truck driver who got seriously injured in a wreck. And in the local media story that covered it, they spoke with the man's wife, who said she had to start a GoFundMe to pay for the medical bills and everything else, which, as you can imagine,
were
was
astronomical.
sky high, of
Yeah.
course. I actually reached out on that page to suggest that she check out the nonprofit our next two guests work for, because this is what they do. Diane Hutsell is the director of philanthropy, and Courtney Niemann is the executive director of the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. And they join us on the line now. Courtney and Diane, I hope you both know what you've gotten yourselves into.
Well, I listened to part of y'all when I was eating lunch, so
Good.
Oh, yeah, to today's show, or was it another one?
part of the latest one and the one before that.
Oh, all right,
Nice.
cool. All right. And you still decided to talk to
Yeah,
us. So,
that's good.
hey,
It's a good
I
sign.
We
did.
take
I'm
that-
a glutton for punishment.
all right, we'll take that as an endorsement. We'll put that on our page.
Yeah.
I listened to the show
She
and I still
listened and still came.
yeah, it still decided that she wanted to talk with us. So, hey, we're
funny.
doing something right. Well, first off, Diane and Courtney, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us. We appreciate that.
Thank you for having us.
And I'm going to start here with kind of an overarching question, because Ashley and I are familiar with what you do there at the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. There may be folks out there who are new to the industry, may not be familiar with what you do. So I think to start, can you just talk a little bit about what you do there to help so many people out there?
Sure. So we are a nonprofit organization. We've been around for 18 years. We are nationwide, and we help over-the-road semi-truck drivers when they have had an injury or an illness that has occurred within the last year. So 365 days that has caused them to be out of work. We are able to help them with free health and wellness programs, but also we can help out financially as well.
Now, you mentioned 18 years ago you got started. How did the St. Christopher's Fund come to be?
Yeah.
So we had a Dr. John in our community. He was doing the exams for drivers and just saw many drivers come in who were dealing with a lot of health issues. And at the time, our executive director, who was Donna Kennedy, she was doing her doctoral thesis with him And they got to talking, and he finally just kind of said, well, we need to start a foundation, and we need to help people out. And he looked at Donna and said, and you're going to be in charge. And so there's a little bit more to the story than that.
Sure.
But that's how it came to be. And the way we got our name, he said, who's the saint, the one, that is over the traveling? And she said, St. Christopher. And he said, yeah. And that's what we're going to name it.
Wow.
So,
St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. Yeah. Also the patron saint, I learned of toothache, among other things. I thought that was interesting.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Toothache, athletics, and bachelors, apparently. So, hey,
those are so random.
Yeah, do with that what you will, I guess. I thought it was interesting. Obviously, you are focused on truck drivers. And Courtney, you kind of talked about it there. And Ashley, you were wondering how this all got started here. I think it is worth talking a little bit about the reality for folks out there. The reality that was there 18 years ago is still the reality for a lot of folks now, a lot of truck drivers out there. And the need is there because a lot of them don't really have health insurance, right? And that's a big part of why you are doing, I suppose, what you are doing.
correct. Then do not have health insurance, whether it be the company that they work for doesn't provide them, or if they're a owner independent, they just don't have the financial means. And so we're just kind of here to help them when they're in that crisis of needing just a little bit of help. Everybody needs a little bit of help from time to time throughout life. There's nothing wrong with that. And so that's what we're here to do. This is kind of help them through that little bit until, maybe their short-term benefits kick in, or their long-term disability or something like that, or they're able to get back on the road and start driving again.
Do you have any examples of, the type of people who have been helped by the organization over the years?
Yeah, we've had some, they're heartwarming, but they're terrible stories in the end. And we just had recently a driver, and he came off the road, and he was in the shower, and he fell, and he's a quadriplegic now, and obviously can't work at all. So we were able to assist them. We've had people that have cancer, and they're doing treatment where they have said, if it weren't for you guys, we would have lost our home. And so, it's not just the truck driver that we're helping. You're talking about their spouses, their wives, their husbands, their children. We've got people that are raising their grandchildren. And so that, it's my favorite part of what we do is actually getting to hear those stories of, this is what you did for me. And it just, for me anyway, it makes me work a little bit harder. It's like I said, they're sad stories, but at the end, there's hopefully a good ending.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious about that too, because this is a kind of situation. It would be great if you didn't have to exist, if that makes sense, because that would mean that everybody's already taken care of. And, if something were to happen, they wouldn't have to worry about this aspect.
Yeah, that's Lindsay, who's our health and wellness coordinator. And I'm director of philanthropy, so it's my job to make sure we have those funds come in that we can then turn around and write checks to drivers. And she's told me, she's like, I want to put you out of business because of the health programs that we do offer. We want to keep everybody healthy on the front end. People don't realize the health issues that drivers have. They live a sedentary life, but with that comes the fact that, they have a hard time eating healthy. So you have diabetes, you have a lot of heart disease. Your truck driver lives 16 years less than just a person that, works at Lowe's or works in an office. They have a much shorter lifespan. They are more prone to prostate cancer. And so people don't really think about, all the things that are brought to you every day. The 73% of the things that you use every day is brought to you by a truck driver. And so she's like, I want to put you out of business. We want to keep everybody healthy. And she's done a phenomenal job with the nicotine cessation. About 50% of those that have started that program have continued to not be a smoker. We've had people that have lost, so much weight by trying to eat better, that, have gotten off medication for their diabetes. So I'm with her. Like, I would love to be able to put myself out of a job that we, but that's her goal is to let's keep them healthy so we don't have to, give them money because they're having cancer treatments or whatnot.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned your job is to, make sure there's enough funding there to help. Where does that funding come from? Is it solely donations?
It is the bulk of that is solely donations. We do get grants and foundation money from folks that reach out that see what we do in the community. We're kind of one of a kind, and like I said, all of the things that we offer are completely free. Any truck driver that can apply for that qualifies, we just help them. And so we do have some amazing partners within our community. Travel Centers of America, they're actually getting ready to host a golf tournament that we're going to be getting funds from in a couple of weeks. Loves Truck Stops. We have just amazing people pilot that see what we do and want to take care of their drivers. They see that they're an investment. Without their drivers, they're stranded. Their trucks are not going to be on the road. So we do have a lot of corporate sponsors, and then we do have a huge portion of our donors. They're trucking families. That's ones when I talk to them, I get to speak with them. I always ask, well, how did you hear about us? What's motivated you to give to the cause? And then I had one said that, I'm a driver and I don't need you now, but I might one day. So I want to make sure you're there. I've had another said, well, my son-in-law had a heart attack and you guys helped him and my daughter. So I want to, support you guys. So we do have a lot of individual truck drivers out there that even if it's $5 a month, and we do have that, they support the drivers, and I love and thank them just as equally as I do that those that write me a check for $100,000. Now, I'm not going to turn that $100,000 check down. So if you guys, wanted to just send us a big check, I wouldn't say no to that. Yeah. But every dollar, every cent that we get, the bulk of it goes right back to the trucking and those drivers that keep us moving and keep the country running.
Yeah, Diane, sorry, I forgot my checkbook today, but otherwise I'd write that for you.
Well, here's the thing. You can go online. We do take credit cards.
You called me on it.
And PayPal. I tell you, I'm shameless when it comes to my drivers.
Well,
that's good.
Let me backtrack then some more. It won't be $100,000, but yes, that is a good point. Yeah, you can do it online too.
Yeah.
Yeah. To that point, and Courtney, you can maybe speak to this as well too. Diane, you were kind of talking about just the overwhelming sense of community among the trucking community, and just how giving a community is. Ashley, we were talking about the Texas flooding recently and covering that, and you see all these trucking companies and truck drivers who are willing to step up, and help and make sure that everybody's doing okay in the way that they can. That you must see that time and time again, every day, every week. Just the sense of what's the word I'm looking for? Just generosity that the trucking community has. Can you talk a little bit about how that takes form and what you see there, and just what it means to see that on a daily basis?
Well, I can tell you, we went to a truck show recently, and just the environment, it felt like family. I mean, it was just everybody was there to have a good time, and they were giving each other a hard time. But I never have felt just so welcomed into a group, and that was my first truck show I had been to since taking the new position as the executive director. And I got welcomed. Let me introduce you. Do you know so-and-so? You can just tell that it's family. They may not be family that they see each other every day. They may not be family that communicate all the time, but wherever they are, they're family. And that's the biggest thing that I think I've seen out of this industry.
Yeah. Diane, do you want to speak to that too?
Yeah, I mean, I've done nonprofit for over a quarter of a century, and I agree wholeheartedly with Courtney that this group of people, truck drivers, you are never going to get a more welcoming, amazing, and real group of people that you get to work with, and it makes my job even more pleasurable. I'll tell you, I was 8 days into this job as director of philanthropy when I went to my first truck show, and so it was. I got pushed into the deep end, but it was fantastic. And like she said, they welcome you with open arms, and it's kind of funny because when I travel, and where I travel to work, it's crazy. It's crazy traffic on the interstate, and you get around these big rigs. And it used to be a little intimidating because you're like, oh, these things are so huge and they're just roaring down the road. But then now that I know these guys, and I kind of can see as I've talked to drivers of like, okay, well, this is why when we're coming up on an exit, we slow down or we do this or we do that. You can kind of see how they're taking care of all of us in our little tiny cars. You know, it's kind of like a big brother watching you, but in a good way. And so, like I said, it is wonderful the sense of community that everybody has, because you know they're part of this select group that gets to do these amazing things. It's on my bucket list. Now, I don't know if I can handle doing a full 4 or 5 days on the road, but it is on my bucket list to at least travel on one of these big rigs.
Do a ride along?
Just to experience. I would love to. And so, you know, that is on my bucket list. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I can't say enough good things about the drivers and their families that are supporting them, because, you know, the spouse that stays home, you know, they're carrying a lot of weight when that person's out on the road. And again, a lot of people don't realize the sacrifice that drivers make. So,
should we put the call out now for anybody who wants to offer you
a ride along?
A ride along?
Yeah, we're based in Knoxville. So.
Yeah, swing on by, pick up Diane, and go on your way.
And Courtney, you know.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So,
there you go. Oh, see, we didn't know it was a two for deal there. So we'll have to.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, my brother-in-law drives for a dairy company, and he was like, they're just not going to let you insurance, and I'm like, insurance, you know, just let me on there. But yeah, I mean, I'm because having to get to sit in some of these rigs, you know, being at MATS and these other conventions where they have these, you know, the trucks on display. They're gorgeous. And, you know, as part of when we do Truck Driver Appreciation Week coming up in September, which we're celebrating the whole month, you know, we're going to have a series, we're calling it Life on the Road, where, again, people don't understand what it's like to be on the road, where we're going to invite drivers to take pictures and take video, and we're going to post them on our website and our social media, just to show people what it's really like, you know, what's it like eating on the road, or you know, trying to find a sleep or trying to find parking. I was shocked and horrified to learn that for every 11 trucks, there's only one parking space.
Yep. Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So we want to show people this is what it is like being on the road, and so we're going to have that aspect, and we're also going to have a part on our website where people can post their thanks, or they can post pictures. You know, one of my best friends, her dad was a truck driver, and so she has this amazing picture of her and her sister in his rig, you know, circa early 1980s and that kind of a thing. So we celebrate drivers all year long, but we are especially going to highlight it for the month of September. So I'm really excited about that project. This will be my first truck driver appreciation project.
Well, Diane, I think you tapped into something there that speaks to kind of what we're talking about in as a whole here. You know, we talk about the sense of community, and you talk about the challenges there about, you know, with truck parking or restroom access or whatever. You know, there are a lot of challenges out there that we're aware of. And I think that's what kind of brings the people together during times of hardship. And this is something that you all do there. I'm wondering, and this is kind of, I guess, asking a question in a different way that I asked earlier, but I see all these posts on social media. I see GoFundMes go up for, you know, truck drivers who have been injured or they've got some sort of illness and it pulls them off the road. You know, they're raising money on GoFundMe or these other avenues, I suppose. If it weren't for St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund, what would it look like for all the people that you helped? They would have had to probably have gone that route, I would assume. And I assume these are conversations you've had with people about, hey, you know, if you hadn't come to us, what would you have done? What do those conversations look like when you talk to them?
Most of them would just have said, I don't know what I would have done. Like, you were my last hope. I mean, I know it sounds really dramatic, but we get that often. You were my last hope. I looked around, I asked for help, and there was no one else. And you know, you were there. So we love hearing those stories, and we always ask, you know, folks that we do get to help. Just again, it's that gas that keeps us all going as to why we do this, is to get to hear those amazing stories and you know, share our particular skill set with you know, drivers. I think a lot of people think, okay, well, I'm a truck driver. You know, there's not, you're a truck driver because you can't really do anything else. And people don't understand that this is it's a profession. Like, this is a career. It's a very serious thing that drivers do. And so it's my privilege to get to highlight and get to celebrate what they do and be able to support them. I know I didn't, a year ago before I was working here, I did not look at drivers the way I do now. And I hope everybody else kind of drinks the Kool-Aid and sees what we see here. Of course, we're boots on the ground every day. But yeah, everybody, for the most part, I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah.
They would have lost homes or we've got some that are right on the edge of eviction. They're going to lose their cars. I mean, it's sad. So we're blessed that we get to be here, and we have so many great people in the community that want to help support that.
Yeah. Courtney?
Yeah, I mean, the exact same thing. So we try to get testimonials from all of our drivers who are beneficiaries from our organization. And the one I have right now in front of me, I don't know what we would have done without you folks. Thank you is not nearly enough, but please know how much I really appreciate all of your help and compassion. I mean, how can you listen to that or read that and just not want to say, what can I do? How can I help? Because as Diane said, our truck drivers, we have to have them to get our stuff. And I, too, am a little bit more cognizant. I try not to cut them off nearly as much as I have in the past.
That's good.
Me too. But I look at them as they're driving down the road, and I just wonder, are they going home? Are they going away? This part always gets me. How long is the last time that they've seen their family? How long is the last time they've seen their friends? Do they have an animal in the car, in the rig with them? What are they doing? What are they thinking? How is their health? What could I do for this one person that just happens to be on the interstate with me and driving past me? I really do think about all of them now. And I've known about St. Christopher for about 10 years. So I've known a little bit about the organization, but being here these past 3 months, it really does make you think differently, and what our drivers are able to provide for us and how we need to keep them on the road. And if it's just a little bit of support that people can provide, $5 that we get or whatever, the big $1 million check, I forget that y'all are going to write for us. I'm sorry about that.
Hang on a second. Let's check the tape.
See, I'm a bargain at 100,000. So.
Oh, wow. This is, I just walked into something I wasn't prepared for. I forgot my credit card too today, by the way. So sorry.
I'm the person when I get stuck in traffic, and I'm surrounded, like literally at a standstill, and I'm surrounded by these big trucks. And I think my husband's worried I'm going to do it one day, that I'm just going to get out of my car and just start walking down the interstate, knocking on windows, handing them my card, saying, "Do you know about St. Christopher?"
Yeah.
Please
don't do that.
I think he's worried.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I do it bad enough when I'm at the dentist or I'm in the grocery store. It horrifies my teenager that I talk about what we do here all the time.
Well, you're proud of it
so much.
Yeah, you're proud of what you do. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we had another staff member that was doing that this week, but that's the passion that we have here.
Yeah. That's great.
To do what we're doing. To know that this is where we need to be and to be able to help those that are in need when they need it.
And that kind of leads into my next question. I assume you probably have a lot of people that reach out, and I'm sure you wish you could help everybody. Are there eligibility requirements that people have to meet in order to get that help?
Yes. So they do have to be an over-the-road driver, which means 4 days or more away from their home. They do have to have an active CDL when the incident occurred, and does have to occur within the past 365 days. We do have a pre-screening form on our website, and if all of the questions are answered, then it will lead you to an application that gets filled out, and it goes to our medical case manager, who will look over that and reach back out to the driver. We do ask some more information. Typically, we get also medical records, and then that goes to our doctor for review, and then it will go to the review team to be approved. So there are a few steps. We always say, that it isn't something that's going to occur, overnight. It does take sometimes up to 30 days to be able to get people approved. But the more that you are in contact with us and helping us get the information, the easier it is for this process to get approved. But also with that, we do kind of sometimes ask some questions that are like, why are people asking this stuff? And it's just because we're trying to get the full picture.
Sure.
And sometimes people will get a application, and unfortunately we'll have to deny them for whatever reasons. But we always give resources.
Yeah.
So it may not be that we have everything. So we will always give the resources. Say, hey, have you tried this place? There's another place you can try. We have lots of resources on our website as well. So try not to leave them empty-handed. Try to give them something.
Yeah, and just to be clear, too, this is for not just for wrecks. This is for illness, anything that pulls somebody off the road. And we're talking, hospital bills. We're talking things like, I think, house payments. Is that right? Basic things. Yeah, things that they need to.
We pay for housing, insurance, car payments, and utilities. Those are the 4 categories that we can pay for.
Excellent.
And you can apply once. And if you're approved, then you can apply again 30 days later, and you can be approved. And then we only help out 2 times per life.
Gotcha. Okay. Real quick, Diane and Courtney, for those out there, maybe they've got, a friend or someone they know that needs some help, or they want to contribute online. What's the website? Where can they go to help out?
It's truckersfund.org. And once they look that website up, we have all of our information on there to be able to fill out the application. If you're just looking for resources, if you want to be that $1 million check, we would love that.
I was going to say, it's right there on the front page. You can call me directly.
Do you have a button? Do you have a button for $1 million
call
donation?
Immediately.
Yeah.
No, but we are redoing, working on some new things. So I will have to put that on there, and I'll expect you to be the first one.
I'll tell you what.
Your name's going to be the first one.
If you get a $1 million donation, please let us know about it, because we would love to talk with that person.
If we get a $1 million donation, you will hear my head explode in East Tennessee.
Well, that does not sound great.
No.
But yes, I know what you're. Yeah, I know what
you
you're
will
saying.
definitely hear about it. Yes,
Absolutely.
So if you want to be that first person, so like the $1 million, hey, have at it.
There you go. Diane, Courtney,
all of our sponsors as well, which we would like to give a little shout out to them. Thank you so much for everything that you have done for us. OOIDA is on there as well. We are so appreciative of everything that you all do for us as well. And we have a wonderful board, and I just can't say thank you to all of my board members and being able to help out.
Yeah. Diane and Courtney, I was just about to say, thank you for your time. Thank you for all you do there, and also your colleagues for helping so many folks out. Who, again, are in need of a little bit of help. We appreciate your time, and we'll hear from you shortly after that $1 million donation goes in.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right, thanks, Sarah. Again, to Diane Hutsell and Courtney Niemann. Ashley, I did not donate $1 million or $100,000. I did donate something, though.
Well, that's
good.
It
is very quick and easy to do. A few clicks on the computer there.
And actually, if you go on the website, they have like testimonials. Which are really, really great to read.
They're doing great work. Patron saint again of travelers, transportation.
I love how you
people.
found that little tidbit of information.
You know what? I found it on Wikipedia.
I was going to say, you didn't just pull that out of the
No.
top of your head.
You might want to double check me. Fact check me on that one.
Fact check.
Yeah, there you go.
One. All right. Well, Scott, we've got to go.
Yes.
Appreciate everyone for listening. You are listening to Trucking with OOIDA. Stay safe.
Today's episode of Trucking with OOIDA was brought to you by a dedicated team of people that includes Jim Fetzer, Keegan White, Tennille Flick, and Kim Boren.
Got thoughts? We'd love to hear them. Call us at 1-800-324-6856 and leave us a message. Or you can send us an email to podcast@ooida.com, and we might include it on the show.